Hi there. Tonight I have a really special guest. She is known to many of you, and we're going to be talking about what happens when they move out and move on. I hope you enjoy this week's Sunday Girl. So as you may have guessed, our guest on this week's Sunday Girl is my daughter, Zoe O'Connor.
Hi.
Zoe, thank you for being a guest.
You're very welcome.
On
Second
Sunday
time.
Girl.
The only
Second
repeat
time,
guest so
second
far.
time, yeah. The only sequel that we have to date. So listen, tonight we're going to be talking about what happens. A lot of people now are doing exams and they're making choices for college and everything.
This is David, by the way.
This is David, Zoe's puppy.
Hi.
So we're filming this in Dublin, in Zoe's back. Very nice.
Yeah, it's my own personal
Very
backyard
nice
that I paid for
back garden.
myself.
And the sun is out. So what we're going to be talking about is what happens when, you know, they move on and
When
they
I
move
moved out.
and how we cope with the empty nest. So Zoe, first of all, tell everybody what you've been doing for the last 4 years.
I actually just got my results on Friday, but I just did a I just did a 4-year degree in Trinity College doing English, which is what I wanted to do since I was 8. And it's real now that I'm 22 and finished college. And yeah, I've been studying hard, bit of partying in the first 2 years, sadly cut short by that whole pandemic situation. But yeah, I've been having fun, growing up a bit, all that stuff, studying, I don't know, being an academic.
Yeah, well, I actually still remember so clearly the summer that you did your leaving cert, and you know, I kind of felt that I really did it as well at times.
That
and
used to annoy me so much. Mom was like, oh, it's so stressful.
I'm sure a lot of mom and dads out there and, you know, family members relate to that as well, is that it is a really, really traumatic time, and you're so invested in them doing well, and you're so invested emotionally that if anything goes wrong, I mean, the day you came into the car after your geography exam, and she comes into the car and she goes, Mom, I failed. And she burst into tears. Then I burst into tears. And then what happened is we go to the bookshelf, which is this lovely coffee shop on the way home. And she could tell by the very, very, very sad faces and the look of extreme concern. And the lovely lady there drops us down a can of Fanta, I think.
And a coffee, orange,
and a coffee on the house, you know. And we both try to smile at each other. And as it happens, look, I worried about that then all summer long.
And
Zoe,
maths paper too, of course.
Zoe gets a first in, or what do they call it in geography?
I got a H1.
She got a H1 then in geography. So
That's so dramatic.
when they come out of an exam and they tell you they've done badly, don't believe them. Don't believe them.
Well, don't do the
You know.
post-mortem. I also cried after maths paper 2, and in fairness that was more on point. But yeah, there's no point. They tell you to avoid talking to everybody else directly after your exams, and really don't do it. It's over. It's fine. It's this moment that's hyped up forever, that like your leaving cert defines your life. But now 4 years on from leaving cert, I don't really believe that. There's many other avenues to things in life, and there's many more things that are way more important than academia.
Thank God.
Thank God.
But we're going to roll everybody back to when you left 4 years ago, and you left me at the top of a mountain in Kerry.
All by yourself.
And even though emotionally I had thought about it for a year,
And Neo became your firstborn.
well, Neo then became my firstborn, but also I think importantly it is like you regulated my day. So you got me out of bed in the morning, I dropped you to school, I texted you and I remembered.
And you remembered.
And then, you know, everything was regulated around you. Then suddenly they're gone. And this kind of whole structure of how you regulate your day a little bit and how you run your personal and your work life is gone a little bit. And so it's really important then for you to prepare and to have kind of strategies for coping. I know what I did is that I moved into HQ in Tralee, my office, not my personal life, into HQ in Tralee for I think about 2 years, which kind of gave me that structure again of getting up in the morning, going in, meeting colleagues, working.
Right.
And then when my work life changed afterwards and I started going more to Cork and Dublin, that was fine. I could then have that as a structure. But I still really remember the day you moved out and you packed up all your belongings, and well, look, it was wonderful because you were moving up to your dad in Dublin.
Yeah.
So I knew where you were
have been
going.
very
I knew you were sleeping at night.
Yeah.
Most nights.
Thanks, Mom. It was a bit different for me in the sense that I'm very lucky to have a parent up here, and a little brother up here. He's over there. You know, it was very different where I didn't have to go in like straight away into this whole like new environment completely by myself. And I was also I'm heading into that in the next month or so, finally. But I've had some 18. I think at the time when you're 18, you think that you're an adult, you think that you're really mature. And now when I meet other 18-year-olds or 18, 19-year-olds, I'm like, God, they're such children. You're still so young. Whereas now I'm slowly creeping towards, I think, maybe being a bit more of an adult, where I can definitely, God fly, where I can hopefully fend for myself a little bit better, even though there's probably going to be still a lot of toast and pasta. But.
And people who are now heading to, their first year in university, which hopefully will all be open again in September.
Well, the confirmations come through.
Okay.
Everyone will have in-person teaching and everything, which is, I'm so jealous. Because I remember when things had kind of started to change, but I'd been at a concert with 15,000 people on Tuesday.
I remember that. What was the artist's name?
Halsey. You were meant to go.
I was meant to go, and I was in Cork.
And you
I just felt, oh my gosh, with my job and everything, and this thing that we didn't know anything about. So I ring Zoe and I go,
no, you didn't. You text me really early in the morning, which is how I know that Mom's genuinely concerned about something. And she texted me and she was like, look, I don't feel that I should go. And I remember reading, you're like, oh, she's so dramatic.
Like, you're so dramatic.
So dramatic.
You're so
Instantly
dramatic.
ring one of my best mates and I'm like, come here, we're going to Halsey tonight. So
Mom's already booked a room in the Gibson. We
can
stay there.
Let's go. Which, whatever. And we went to Halsey, that was grand. And then went to work on the Wednesday and then went into college on the Thursday. And we're all sitting there and there's kind of this thing bubbling in the background, but we're all kind of not thinking about it. I was meant to go out that night and we were sitting in class and I was with Claire Clark, who went on to be my thesis advisor and everything, but we were sitting there with her and surrounded by a good few of my friends, and we all get this notification being like, Leah Radker has announced that all schools, colleges are closed effective immediately. One of my classmates stands up and goes, I have an announcement. David,
come over here. This is very important.
And tells us basically, go home, panic, go home. And one of my friends said, come here, I'm going out tonight, I can't go home. It was that whole very odd thing. But, you will get to go back. I never got to go back and have another class after
that. Ring Zoe immediately, I'm like, pack everything up, get out of the city, come straight to Kerry now, it's going to be safe in Kerry.
No, 2 weeks. I get to go home for 2 weeks, grand. And yeah, it wasn't 2 weeks. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, you bought enough clothes for 2 weeks.
Oh my, I didn't even. I stayed for 4 months. I stayed for 4 months.
Well, they were really happy 4 months for me. I have to tell you.
It was it was great in the sense that I almost got to go back to the time before I fled the nest, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I got to go back, and we'll never get really that time again. That it was very much, it was a very happy time out of a very scary time.
I think everybody has coping mechanisms, and a lot of people really enjoyed the first lockdown purely because
we've all romanticized the first lockdown. Now it's like, the first lockdown, what a time.
Well, we thought that it was going to be over in the summer. I mean, I definitely was committed to being over by July. I even became in July. I was like, hey, it's over, everybody. Let's plan. And look, that isn't the way it worked out, but I think that we are heading into a better time.
You're vaccinated now.
Yeah, we're vaccinated.
I'm on the road to be vaccinated, hopefully.
So you had 4 years in college. What strategies would you give somebody just entering first year of college now?
See, what's funny is in first year, even though I had an English degree, and I can say it now that I have done well at the very end of it, but I didn't hardly do stuff. I didn't hardly do anything in first year reading wise. I just had a lot of fun. I had every book on my course in my final year, so I definitely made up for it. But it is important to take the learning opportunities as well. They are trying to teach you things, but I think maybe this is more of a pandemic lesson, but say yes to everything. Just say yes. People ask you to go places.
No. Say yes to most things.
Okay, sorry. But you know what I mean? Say yes to plans and things. If a girl that you don't really know in your class asks you to go out, go out. what's the worst thing that could happen? You know, throw yourself into a new situation. Everybody in the beginning of college is looking for new friends, is looking to meet people. That's how I met my best friend. I'd met her once in a class at 9 a.m. She texted me that night, do I want to go out? So random. And she's now still remains as one of my best friends. Like, these things happen and you make all these memories with these people. And sometimes, you know, you don't become best friends with the person that you sit next to on the first day, but you have to be open to all these opportunities. And I think one of the most important things is to let go of that secondary school mindset where things remain in cliques, and you know, there's a whole different atmosphere. Like, college is very much a time when you can, you know, it's a time to be authentically yourself because you have that opportunity to start fresh.
Yeah. And what is next for Zoe O'Connor? Because I know you're a very driven, you're a goal-focused person.
Mm-hmm.
So as you
I'm not a person with a 10-year plan, but I definitely, you know, I'm moving to London, hopefully, the place to be for a 22-year-old apparently. But I want to learn, I want to grow up a bit more, and I want to make memories with these people, and I just want to say yes to opportunities. And I mean, at the end of the day, I still have the same goal that I had when I was 8. I want to work for Condé Nast. I want to work in, you know,
Condé
like...
Nast, if you're listening.
Condé Nast, look, if you're listening, I'm ready, I'm available, anything.
Well, you kind of...
You know, even writing my CV was quite an experience where I'm like, okay, I actually did do all the things. And if there is another mode of advice that I put upon myself when I was quite young, when I was tracing back through the years of various internships and stuff that I've been lucky enough to take, I realised how young I was on these things, and I thought that I was an adult.
Right. I mean, you did an internship at
I
Image
did
magazine
Image
for
when
the
I was
summer.
15.
You worked with Leah in Life magazine.
When I was 14.
You were a fundamental part of Fashion Week.
When I was, God, 11.
I think, Zoe, what you have, Mike, so this is your mom, is that as well as being focused and having goals, you have an inner confidence, and you have a drive. Yeah, which is really important though, because sometimes I meet, because I work a lot with younger people as well, and they sometimes lack confidence. And
but the most important thing
thing is an inner.
But the most important thing I've learned in the last year is that people are going to say things about you anyway, so you might as well do things that make you happy.
And you might as well give them something to talk about.
Well, you might as well give them something to talk about. But someone said that to me when I released Duplicity and stuff last year, and I started...
And for those who don't know, what is Duplicity?
I wrote a book during lockdown last year, and I released it serially because I was actually kind of doing a bit of an investigation for what later became my thesis, which is the study of how books used to be published serially, and I went into kind of a feminist look of that in the end. But I was really, really nervous, and I was so conscious of what other people were saying about me, because, you know, you hear things through the grapevine. And then one of my best friends, Emma, said to me, she was like, well, Zoe, people are going to say things about you either way. So if this is what makes you happy, then that's what you have to do. And it is completely true. And I do it with everything now, where I'm like, well, they're probably going to say something about me anyway. So what's the point of holding myself up in my room and, you know, conforming to what everybody else wants me to be?
Why hold yourself back?
And be
because
desperately
they're going to say something. Yeah,
because they're going to say something about you either way. And then who's really winning there? This person who is fixated on you and obviously is unhappy themselves. People definitely have come with criticisms to both of us, I'm sure. Saying things.
Don't be ridiculous. Nobody ever said that bad about me.
But you know what I mean? Where people are like, oh, she's this, or she thinks she's all this, or blah, blah, blah. And people are going to say that either way. And so I know,
go out there, live your dream.
You know yourself that you are a good person, or you are a nice person, or you are authentically yourself, and that's the most important.
Well, work hard, be honest.
Yeah.
Be true to yourself.
Absolutely.
Be confident. These are all the things, like, I sound like this mom, like, but these are all the things that I would say over and over again.
Someone at the restaurant last night called us sisters.
That's only because they wanted a tip. I'm on to that person. And yes, flattery works. I left them very generous.
We did, yeah. Look.
So thanks a million, everyone, for joining us both on Sunday Girl. Listen, I love your feedback. Keep sending us messages. And from both of us, have a fantastic week.
Cheers to you.